It's Trump v. Biden, and here's the former of the two, former President Donald Trump, addressing, I'm sure, joyful supporters at his Mar-a-Lago estate in Florida overnight.
Well, thank you very much. They call it Super Tuesday for a reason. This is a big one. And they tell me, the pundits and otherwise, that there's never been one like this. There's never been anything so conclusive. This was an amazing night, an amazing day. It's been an incredible period of time in our country's history. It's been sad in so many ways, but I think it's going to be inspiring because we're going to do something that, frankly, nobody's been able to do for a long time.
The former president went on to make personal digs at the current president, Joe Biden, hardly a surprise, and Biden's handling of the economy.
A lot of people say, a lot of experts have said the stock market's the only thing that's doing well, and that's doing well because our poll numbers are so much higher than Joe Biden's. He's the worst president in the history of our country. There's never been anything like what's happening to our country.
These Trump supporters in North Carolina spoke with Sky News about the prospect of a Trump v. Biden rematch in November and explained why they're excited by the prospect.
I feel like this country is in despair for some strong leadership. I'm looking forward to putting Donald Trump in there.
I'm not crazy about his communication skills or his name calling, but that doesn't matter.
He knows his stuff. He knows what he's got going on. So I truly believe in him.
Now, the news agent's John Sopel, of course, a global podcast, who's in Washington, D.C., reporting on Super Tuesday, was speaking with Clive Bull overnight on LBC. John explained why former President Trump's stock is still continuing to rise despite the plethora of legal issues.
There are also a lot of people who feel that Donald Trump, America was more secure when he was president, and it's a counterfactual that is very difficult to prove one way or the other. But, when he was president, Russia hadn't invaded Ukraine. There was peace in the Middle East. Neither of those things are true today. And so his supporters say, look what Donald Trump did. The border was safer when Donald Trump was president, and arguably many more illegal immigrants are crossing the border now than was the case when Donald Trump was the president. So his supporters kind of come to him, and they do just adore him. He is the non-politician politician. He gets away with things that a conventional politician, whether in Britain, whether in the United States, just wouldn't stand a chance of getting away with.
If I had a choice, then it would be Biden. But I'm interested in the way in which the Trump approach to this bull in a china shop way that he tends to approach most things is really concerning in this day and age. It's a fragile world we live in.
It is.
And even though, I think a lot of those people who would vote for him are saying, well, look what he did in North Korea. He's gone up and he's speaking to the leaders and he's going to go into this country and do stuff and he's making all this rhetoric, and it's really concerning. So, and plus the fact, as your man said earlier, 91 indictments against him, and yet the public are going, yep, he's the man for us. It's really, really worrying.
It is worrying. Of course, what it means for the global situation as well, as you rightly point out, the role that the president has. John, thank you for that. Hassan's in Ely. If you had to vote for either of them, what would you do, Hassan?
If I was an American citizen right now, I'd probably vote for Trump, if I'm honest with you.
Okay.
Purely because of the fact that...
Tell me why, sir.
Yeah. I think Joe Biden is he doesn't have a statesmanly quality about him. I think he's getting on about, not being ageist, but in my opinion, I think he's getting on a bit now. He's a bit sometimes he can't string a sentence together. Sometimes he doesn't know where he is.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I think with the world as unstable as it is right now, with the Ukraine situation and the potential flaring up of problems in China and the Israel situation as well, I think having someone like that as a leader of the world superpower is a very bad sign of the bad portent.
Indeed.
In my opinion.
Yeah. What of the other candidates? Some would say, of course.
Well, if I'm honest with you, I think that let's be honest. As an outsider, the reason why Trump had the advantage when he first ran was because the public had a knowledge about him. He had a reality TV show. He appeared on separate television programs. You know what I mean? Whereas now, I think a lot of the establishment like the non-establishment candidates of the Republican Party, like that, I forgot his name, Vivek Ramaswamy, I think his name was.
Yes.
Yeah. I think they didn't really have the exposure that Trump had as an outsider that helped propel him into the leadership position.
If we go back to Trump's victory, so not when he was. Do you not think that idea that I'm going to drain the swamp, that most politics and politicians is corrupt, and I'm going to be the guy who goes in there wider than white, if I'm allowed to say that, sort it all out, drain out all... That's a very, very appealing line to a lot of people, isn't it?
It is, and if I'm honest with you, I think this whole... Because obviously my background is from Pakistan, right? And I did, and I do see the trend in the West heading towards that direction. So if you
heading to what direction, Hassan?
I think like the way that like third world countries like conduct their politics.
Right.
So if you see in the situation in Pakistan, what you'd have a prime minister who has like 4 years, then he gets done for corruption, goes to jail.
I've got it.
He runs
I've
again.
got it. Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think this downward trend really actually, I wouldn't say downward trend, but I'd say this rhetoric and this appeal to using these judicial measures started when I think it actually started with Trump.
Okay.
When Trump said, he actually unleashed it. When he said in the election campaign that I'm going to lock Hillary Clinton up, and obviously he didn't actually do it when he was in charge, but I think the Democratic Party was like, okay, well, he said he's going to do it. We are going to actually bring charges towards him and say he did this.
Okay.
And I think, obviously, now I think if Trump gets re-elected, I think it's going to be a musical chair situation where he's going to press charges against Biden for this. And I think it's just going to become one big circus, really.
Good morning. It would be Trump, not because I necessarily like him and his character or anything like that. However, I feel like someone else is currently running America because Biden is obviously not fit even to answer questions. And also at the time of Trump, there has been the Abraham Accord signed. So I think he is such a type that unpredictability works for him because he's such a person like showing left but hitting with right, if you see what I mean. So I think he's making all these threats and, being unpredictable. But then at his time, it was only peace in the world. So yeah, and I'm really curious to know who is at the moment running America. Certainly not Biden.
Well, I'm sure the Democratic Party would argue that he is. Do you want an unpredictable president? How healthy do you think that would be?
Well, it depends what the aim is. And so far, what he has proven is that, he kept the peace. So I don't know. I have this strange feeling that he likes peace, actually, but he's not showing it.
And you don't think
his tradesmanship.
Okay. You don't think he's hooked on revenge?
I don't think so. I don't think so in that way, no.